So this is the slide we want to discuss. So just to enlarge it for you to clearly see this one. So far, hello. Yeah. So you are getting my voice a little bit delay because of some net connection. So in last session, we have discussed about the passive optical devices like isolators and circulators. Just to go through them. So these are the passive devices and non-reciprocal. So where the whatever the optical ray, if you are going to put from one port, it will be coming out from the next successive port. So in this the important point what we have discussed is how to implement add and drop multiplexer using 2 3-port optical circulators and fiber grating filters. So I hope you understood this one. So today next we can go with the discussion of dielectric thin film filters. So before that, I hope you also understood the diffraction grating mechanisms, which are widely used in the DWDM technology. So one thing I would like to mention here. So of course, you will be getting the explanation along with the video lectures here. So you can also refer to the textbooks, whatever I uploaded, and also you can refer to the notes. Even you can get more information from the net. So try to, if you are feeling less information is there here or there somewhere, so you can ask me to repeat this or to give more information on the particular device. I can look into that matter and I will give you the more elaboration. Or else you can go through some more information on the net also. So, there are some points will be there which we have not. I think we stressed with a little explanation. So you can refer to the net or textbooks. You can get the explanation there. You can mention me which are those things so that you are not able to elaborate it or you don't have the much information. So what we can do first, you go through their materials, lectures, upload study material along with the textbooks. And if you feel still the explanation is very much for you get understanding the particular, then you can mention it in the WhatsApp group or you can tell me. So introduction on one particular day, so such will get many number, more in number. That explanation separately. Today we'll be having this thin film filters. So it is an optical band pass filter, which is allowing a specific narrow wavelength to pass and reflect the remaining wavelength. It is mainly made from Fabry cavity or Fabry interferometer concept, and that's why it is also known as Itellon or thin film resonator cavity, because the Fabry interferometer acting like a cavity resonator. So let us try to understand what we mean by this thin film. Okay. So the thin film technology refers to the name itself will suggest very thin films of layers which are having the thickness or thickness, you can say it is in the range of nanometers, 1 to less than that. So, for example, if you want to give the example here, good examples which will really practically exist are the bubbles. Soap bubbles. If you look into the soap bubbles, the bubble layer outside the bubble layer, this is the practical thin film I am talking. Okay. So to understand the concept of this thin film, I will be taking the example of the soap bubble, and another one is this CD you have seen. CD you are using to store the data, CD or a DVD. Okay. So if you look at these things, wait, somebody wants to join. Yes. Looking into yeah. So what I want to say is that when looking into the bubble, in layer of the bubble, so they're getting you might be observing a lot of colors are circular formation of hello. So there will be a formation of pattern of colors on the thin film of the bubble, or even you can observe such kind of patterns of different colors on the upper surface layer of the CD, where you are actually going to store the data, CD or DVD. So how these colors have been formed? Of course, they are called. No, this is what the thin film, what you are understanding. But why they are called filters? That is DFF. Later we will see that is what is dielectric thin film filters. So thin film you got to know. Then why they are called as filters? So this meaning why they are called as filters lies in how those patterns of different colors have been formed on the upper layer, thin layer of the soap bubble or the CD. So these patterns of the colors are found by the interference of the different wavelengths. For example, suppose in this slide you can see I have indicated two mirrors here which are known as reflecting facets. You can see here. Let's assume these two layers, inside these two layers are this cavity is acting like a your soap bubble. For the time being, let us assume that. Okay. And this soap bubble, the environment, the medium, it will exist inside the soap bubble, having its own refractive index. And outside the soap bubble, on either side, air will be there. And air refractive index, how much it has got? It is 1. Okay. So let us assume this February periodic cavity is acting like a soap bubble, and outside, on either side, you assume that air will be there. Air has got different refractive index, that is one, and soap bubble, the medium that will exist inside the soap bubble, has got different refractive index. Let us assume that it is 1.33 something. Okay. Now the question is where we have stopped. We are trying to understand how these different patterns of the colors are forming on the thin layer of that soap bubble outside this layer. Okay. So these patterns will be found by two important phenomena. Try to listen here because I don't have the much supporting things here. Okay. So the two phenomena are constructive interference and destructive interference. If we get two waveforms, which are in phase. Or if you get two waveforms having maybe same or different wavelengths, and if their crest are matching and troughs are matching, means that they have got the same phase, then they will be added, constructively added, and that is going to lead to bright color. Which color? Bright color. Okay, that is called constructive interference. So that, from that, how we are getting interferometer name. Okay. Now what is happening? So when the light falls on the soap bubble, so the light coming from the sunlight will contain many different colored lights of different wavelengths. When the sunlight falls on the bubble, soap bubble, it will go inside the medium of the soap bubble, travel propagating through that medium. So many different wavelengths of different colors are propagating inside the medium of this bubble, soap bubble. So only those wavelengths are waveforms having different wavelengths which are falling in phase or taking part in the constructive interference. Taking part in the constructive interference means they are constructively added in phase. That is going to lead to bright color. And those waveforms which are falling out of phase, resulting into the destructive interference, and that leads to the dark color. And in between this bright and dark color, we got different shades, different colors. So these shades are different colors, wide varieties of them, ranging between the bright and dark color. We are getting because of the path length difference between the two uh, optical rays. So let us assume that the two optical rays which are coming from the same source are going to reach another side by different time because of the path length involved. Then you can see they will be added. Okay, you can say they will be added. So depending on the path length difference, they will be having some phase difference between them. What is the bright color? Bright color will not be having any phase difference between the rays. Zero phase difference will be there. And dark color will be having 180-degree out of phase difference between the two rays. Now we are talking about how the different patterns of the ranges of colors we are getting between bright and dark color, that is between the phase 0 to phase 180. Means by varying the path length difference or the delay between the two rays, two successive rays, or the phase difference variation, we are getting different patterns of the color variations between the bright and dark color. Means the total concept of getting the patterns of different colors that will exist between the bright and dark color depends on the variation of the phase difference, or in turn directly depends on the path length difference that will existing between the propagating two light rays between the two layers of the soap bubble. Okay, so this is the main thing, guy, that the two phenomena, that the constructive interference and destructive interference, they are going to lead to the formation of different patterns of the colors on the upper surface of the soap bubble. So that's how you can see this is known as fibroperiodic cavity interferometer. Interferometer, we are getting disturbed by these two interference phenomena. Understanding? And how you are going to get different shades or the color leads to this term, filter. So that's why it is known as a thin film filter, and it is also known as a dielectric, because the medium that will exist between the layers of the bubble is acting like a dielectric, or one of the layer is going to protect the medium inside the bubble from the outside air medium. It is also acting like a dielectric. So that's why you can see we are able to get different patterns of the colors on the soap bubble, and even different patterns of the colors on the CD or DVD, what you are going to see. Mean the wavelength will be selectively chosen and made to appear on the surface. So that's what is known as thin film filter, acting like a bandpass filter. Definite bandwidth of the wavelengths will be used or selected by this interference phenomenon. So coming to this one, in the similar manner, this Fabry-Perot cavity here has been used as a thin film filter. Okay. Let us wait some. Nobody is there. Yes. Yes. Now, guys, you have understood clearly, no? The two phenomena, that is constructive interference and destructive interference of the light rays inside the fibroparotid cavity, leading to the operational aspect of the dielectric thin film filter. Here, fibroparotid cavity itself will be used as an interferometer or thin film resonator cavity. It is acting like a thin film resonator cavity. So let us assume we have got two reflecting facets of the fibroparotid cavity separated by a distance d, capital D, and we can see the incident light is falling at this particular point of this left side reflecting facet. If the light ray falls at this point, it will travel straight, transversing distance d, then it will undergo multiple reflection like this, and we are start getting the interference of these multiple reflected rays, leading to constructive interference at some and destructive interference on the another side. So the amount of light reflected depends on the reflectivity parameter of the surface. So transmitted resonant waves will add in here at one point and cancel out at another point. And in between, the different range of wavelengths we are getting based on their respective path length or phase difference. So this actually depends on, because they are traveling, bombarding, going and coming back, it will involve the round trip distance. So only those rays which will be having the round trip distance in terms of the integral multiple of the lambda. So light at these integral multiple of lambdas pass through the right facet. Okay. So only those light rays which are after getting the reflected from multiple reflection will be having integer multiple of lambdas, like 2, 4, 6, like that, lambda 2, lambda 4, lambda 6. That is integer multiple of 2. Like that, will be having integer multiple of n. Only those integer multiple of lambda rays will be allowed to pass through the right facet and will be allowed to add in phase. That is constructive interference. They are taking part in the constructive interference, which are actually known as a resonant wavelengths. Etalon rejects remaining wavelengths. Etalon means this surface. Etalon is a name, that is a theory, a light theory. So this is the light theory. That is what is the condition that is allowing the light rays to be added constructively. Only those light rays which will be having integer multiple of wavelength will be allowed to pass through the right facet and will be allowed to take part in the constructive interference, or will be allowed to add constructively, which are actually added in phase and are acting like a dominant or resonant wavelengths. So let us see what is this etalon and how it is going to reject the remaining wavelengths, cancelling it out, leading to the dark color. So, as per the etalon theory, transmission T. So, what is the operational aspect? Suppose if in the exam, if you get discuss about dielectric thin film filters, that is TFF, first you in this way try to explain the thin film, what you mean by thin film. Like that itself, you take the example of the soap bubble or the CD and try to elaborate it and how it will be acting like a thin film filter, and how later you are going to arrive at this meaning dielectric thin film filter. You can take this as an example, initially telling that this cavity, particular cavity, is assuming or acting like a soap bubble or a CD, and you try to explain how you are going to get different patterns or shapes of the colors which will exist between from bright to dark spots. Sorry, by the help of the two phenomena, constructive interference and destructive interference phenomena. Then we can switch on to the febroperiodic cavity and how it will be used as an interferometer. That itself. And then later we can add few things about the echelon theory that we are going to discuss it now. So echelon theory is important because it is going to decide how the things will be added and means that is a theory working beyond this constructive and destructive interference phenomena. So according to this theory, the transmission T of an ideal echelon means surface with a no light absorption by the mirrors. Okay, so what is telling the transmission T of an ideal transmission T with a no light absorption by the mirrors. So practically it is not possible. Every material has got its own some absorption coefficient alpha. But ideally he is saying means alpha is 0. Then in that case, according to this theory, the T will be given by 1 plus 4r by 1 minus r square, that is r, the round trip distance, sin square pi by 2, that is a total phase change that will occur when the light ray will go and come back. Okay. But the phase change by ignoring pi is given by 2 pi by lambda 2n d, that is integer multiple of this d, the distance between the facets, into cos theta. Theta is the angle to the normal of the incoming light beam. So this is the angle, incident angle. So this much you can tell when you are going to conclude about DTFF. Okay. So let us see how the behavior of these resident and dominant wavelengths are going to behave. So here we are told that the amount of reflected or brightness of these colors depends on the reflectivity parameter R of the surface of these materials. So behavior of the resonant wavelengths in the febroperiodic cavity is based on the Airy function and these reflectivity of the material. So this already we have discussed in the case of febroperiodic cavity resonator. The same things you can try to uh, uh, re-repeat here. So figure shows the power transfer function capital T. So peaks of the spacings, the pass bands. So here to indicate the pass band that occurs at wavelength satisfying n lambda equal to Tnd by. So or you can say capital N equal to Tnd by lambda, integer multiple of 2Nd. Hence it's been required that for single wavelength to be selected by the filter, means this thin film filter, from the particular spectral range, because we are observing a different range of colors will be formed, range of wavelengths will be formed, out of which, because it is going to be band pass filter, we have to choose or select specific band of the wavelengths. So all wavelengths must lie in the pass band of that T will be selected, which are falling outside T will be rejected according to the echelon theory. So up to this you have to discuss this DTFF. So first, guys, you have to start with the beginning, explaining the concept of thin film, then extend it to how and why it is called thin film filter, with the explaining the two concepts or phenomena, that is constructive and destructive interference phenomena. Then later you can switch on to febroperiodic cavity and explain how it can be used as a febroperiodic interferometer from the resonator cavity. And later you are going to jump explaining about these things and concluding it with the echelon theory. That is a theory which is working beyond the constructive and the destructive interference phenomena. Okay. So that we can tell a little bit about the significance of the echelon theory with the help of these two equations. And then we can explain how the resonant modes or the dominant wavelengths will be selected, as it is acting like a band pass filter based on uh, the wavelengths which are falling or coming with these integer multiples, that is 2nd by lambda integer multiple wavelengths. Having these wavelengths will be selected to be coming out from this passband filter, and which are falling outside T will be eliminated or rejected by this echelon. Okay, that also you have to mention. So this all about dielectric thin film filters. Okay, so you can see this video and sit with the pen and paper and note down the things and make their own words or sentences. That is better. will give you more explanation. So some characteristics of this passband T is given. There is a distance between the adjacent peaks. There is a free spectral range, FSR. That is one of the formula. Just I am putting it here. If sometimes if it is required in solving the numericals, you can use this one. It is FSR equal to lambda square by 2nt, where lambda is the wavelength of the particular ray divided by 2n. That is the index, refractive index. D is the distance between the facets. Similarly, we have the full width half maximum FWTH, another term that is going to indicate how many wavelengths can be selected within this FSR. That is a free spectral range of filter. Means it is going to indicate the net wavelengths to be selected for this band pass filter. So the number of wavelengths that filter can accommodate. That is known as the Fibonacci F factor, is given by Fs by FWHM, given by this formula. So you can see here this Fibonacci factor F that is going to indicate effective or net number of wavelengths of this band pass filter is just a function of the reflectivity parameter. This is very important, guys. So that's why in this slide we are concluding. You are going to conclude. Okay, your answer is going to finish up. Remember your DTFF by this only. You are concluding by saying that if you are getting any dominant mode outside this T or uh, not having this integer multiple of R or 2nd by lambda, that is resulted by this. So that's what he is saying here. That's why it is going to be depend on reflectivity parameter. So it totally depends on the reflectivity. R equal to 0.4, 0.7, I can say it will go on reduce the width between these two sides of the peak as the R value will go on increasing. Means the passband is go on reducing with the increase in R. So that's what its significance. So what it is telling as Fibonacci F factor, that is going to indicate the net wavelengths which are to be chosen by this bandpass filter, as it is going to be just depending on the R factor. Now if you see as R factor is go on increasing, the passband is go on reducing. If the passband is go on reducing, the number of net dominant wavelengths what you are getting in this passband will also go on reducing. That is the main inference we are getting here. So this is how we have to conclude this DTFF. First you start with this diagram, explain these two questions, and with this graph you try to conclude. So this is a very important formula, this one. So next let us see another this thin film filter that is known as a multi-layer thin film filter. Till now we have seen only two layers, two optical facets, reflecting facets observed in the February periodic cavity resonator. Two layers you have. So there what it is happening? It is selectively choosing of the wavelengths which are falling integer of 2nd wavelength selected as happening or in this. Other wavelengths selected by Sitt law. Sitt law is also another name for this reflecting phase. Okay. So that's what it is happening. Now is selective wavelengths as multiple. In multiple optical filter, we are using multiple layers. So okay. So here, I think if it is visible, hello. In this multi-layer optical film filter, we are using alternate layers of silicon and titanium pentoxide, which are switched between creating multiple layers of the optical film. So idea is that so these layers will be found on the glass substrate, and at the glass substrate you are getting the throughput output. There each kind of wavelengths will be reflected. So input you are going to send light ray containing the wavelength from lambda to lambda. Okay. From this multiple layers, you are getting two sets of the or two of the wavelength ranging from lambda 1 to lambda k minus 1. Other ranging from lambda k 1 to lambda n. Like that, compared to the previous thin film filter using Fabry period, there you got only one set of wavelengths. Now you are getting, as you are using multiple layers, means only two layers you are sandwiching between these. Two layers as you are using, you are getting two sets of the reflected wavelength ranges. Understand? Remaining some of the wavelengths are falling outside this will be absorbed or cancelled by the disturbed interference. So each dielectric layer acts like a reflecting surface. Series of resonance cavities surrounded by the mirrors. Passband sharpens the number of these cavities increases. Okay. The passband is going to be more sharp if you go on increasing more layers here. Let us see some of the applications or still more versions of the TFF like this way. So the TFF thin film filter can be used for multiplexing multiple wavelengths. For example, you can see here, I am using three TFFs, thin film filters. You can see here, thin film filter 2, TFF2 here. Here I will be making a light ray having wavelength lambda 2 fall on this, normal to this one, TFF2. And here another light ray making fall on another surface of TFF2 at a particular angle of incidence. Both be added means they are taking part in the constructive difference, and they will be added lambda 1 comma lambda 2 means they use lambda 1 plus lambda 2, and they are going to fall at a certain angle of incidence on TFF3. So where on another side of TFF3 you are putting another wavelength lambda 3, which will be also taking part in the constructive interference along with lambda 1 and lambda 2. Now all the three wavelengths will be constructively added, and then they are going to fall at a particular angle of incidence on the another layer of the TFF4, where another surface of the TFF4 has hello hello. Okay, I will repeat it here because you missed that one because of the not cut of that my voice. So here we are. Now we are getting lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, all are in phase, constructively they are added. Now all the three together as single ray, they are going to fall on this surface of the TFF4. On the right surface of the TFF4, this is going to receive another wavelength lambda 4 normal to it. Now all these together taking part in the constructive interference, and we are getting this one multiplex signal by combining lambda 1 to lambda 4. So in this way, TFF can be used from coupling four wavelengths by lens mechanism. This is known as a lens mechanism. You are going to use here TFF as a lens. You are trying to add all the individual wavelengths here, trying to focus them, means multiplexing them. It is something like we are going to multiple light wavelengths in the very sharp spot. By that you try to burn the paper. You are going to focus, you are going to merge, you are going to multiplex here in this way. Okay. So next class we are going to see the active optical components. That we shall see tomorrow. Let us stop now.